Are we facing a once in a 6,000 year mass extinction event? Well, some say it's a bit conspiratorial, alarmist, or just the sky is falling out, nothing's happening. But we just recently saw this massive solar storm, which resulted in auroras being blasted over the lower 48. It's a rare occurrence. Of 10 major events that occurred in the last 100 years where you could see an aurora from Texas, 5 of them occurred in the last 2 years. We have seen the record strongest storm. They just confirmed this. That was it Hurricane Melissa, I think it was called. The highest wind speeds ever recorded. And certainly some on the left would scream climate change, but they've sort of dropped that one off and no one's really talking about it. Now, I will admit, I have no real reason to believe the end is nigh or anything like that. I can only really say that these are interesting subjects and it's fun to talk about. I'm going to carry on with my life like normal and not expect the world to end. But we have seen strange things happen. Issues with satellites, the expanding South Atlantic anomaly, a dent in the magnetic field the size of Europe, cell networks going down rapidly, and as I mentioned, these massive auroras. Ben Davidson, who is the space weather guy, has been tracking this. And he has a new simulation he just posted showing the tsunamis that will hit should the poles flip. We're all going to die. I mean, he's really predicting this. And we've got this story from Lad Bible. Expert issues terrifying warning as he claims Earth is facing a once in a 6,000 year mass extinction. Now, you may be saying to me, Tim, if this were true, why wouldn't they go and tell everybody? Okay, let me give you an entertaining hypothesis. I want to stress again, live your life like normal. This is, you want to work, you want to save, you want to prepare for the worst. If the apocalypse happens, well, it's been a fun ride, hasn't it? You're not going to survive, or maybe you will, but here's the point. With the climate change narrative, they highlight weather phenomenon that seems rare or unusual. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's literally just weather. But there are weird things, anomalous things, and record-breaking wind speeds. Now, why the climate change narrative? This allows government to refocus industry in a direction where people, they're not going to throw their lives away and go head for the mountains, but they will start building new technology. Let me put it like this. The theories from Ben Davidson are that, and I'm probably going to get a bit of what he's saying wrong, the axis is going to shift. When the poles reverse, it's going to weaken the magnetosphere. We're going to get blasted by solar activity, be sent to the Stone Age, and if the poles shift, there'll be an axis tilt. And that explains a lot about why Antarctica is the way it is, with a giant landmass with ice on it. Potentially why there are glaciers in Indonesia and even in Africa. Well, that could just be from the glacial period. The planet was much colder. But also why the mammoths found up north have undigested plant matter in their bellies. None of it's true, just entertaining. But here's a thought, because it's fun. If you were the government and you were told by your experts, the poles are going to flip, the axis will tilt, north becomes south, east becomes west, whatever. There's going to be great tsunamis that wipe out critical infrastructure across the planet. What technology would you want? Well, you'd want deep underground military bases in key areas that are elevated that wouldn't be hit by any kind of tsunami should the Earth flip. But what about transmission lines, electricity? How will you generate enough power to restore civilization should everything get wiped out? Now, of course, oil and gas will always be the best for energy return on energy invested. In the short term, nuclear is probably better. And fusion, whew, that's fantastic. But hold on. You're going to want solar, wind, water, etc. It's an excellent point made in the show Landman, where Billy Bob brings this liberal lawyer to a wind farm. And she says, cutting into your profits? And he goes, no. And she said, she called it green energy. He goes, it's not green, it's alternative. The wind farms are put out here because you can't get transmission lines to power the pumps. The purpose of the wind turbine is so that they can get electricity to pump oil and use the oil for energy. It's an amazing point, but it's true. If the world were to end with this great flood, and you were a government seeking to preserve, you would want wind farms, particularly ones in water, less likely to be affected by a tsunami. Then, after the Great Flood period, you will still have access to electricity, which can kickstart oil drilling and pumping. Instead of having to start from scratch and rebuild industry with your bare hands, you'll have a kickstart. That's the plan, right? Maybe that's reality, maybe it's not. But I want to play this video for you. I want to show you what Ben Davidson is predicting. Before we do, however, my friends, we do have a great sponsor. It is, you know it, Backyard Butchers. I'm a big fan. I love good, clean meat from real ranches, no hormones, no garbage. You go to backyardbutchers.com, promo code TIM, and you're going to get up to 30% off, free shipping. And guess what? A free turkey or ham with your purchase. We don't need big ag, hormone meat garbage for our Thanksgiving dinner. Now, I'm not a big turkey guy, but I know you all want your turkeys and your hams for Thanksgiving. That's what Backyard Butchers will do for you. Your family is going to appreciate it when you're eating real food, real meat from real farms. And I know you do too. That's why you pay attention. And you know what? I got to be honest. Most of you are probably more maha than I am. Make America healthy again. That means real clean food, real clean meat, straight from real ranchers, and not feedlot mystery meat and big ag chemical hormone schlop. Just the good stuff. My friends, Backyard Butchers, it's real ranch-raised beef from real American families who still believe in doing things right. Check out backyardbutchers.com. Use promo code TIM, and you'll get that free turkey or ham plus 30% off. It's an amazing deal. Real American tradition, real American meat, Backyard Butchers. Check them out. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Let's jump to the video. The next flood, he calls it. It's interesting. It's fun. It's got spooky music. But I want to tell you this, my friends. There's something called the Adam and Eve theory. This is that every 6,000 years, the axis will flip, causing great tsunamis, which destroy civilization. Some say it's connected to the Great Mud Flood theory. Interestingly, the mud flood theory is connected to the story of Noah's Ark, that a great flood occurred. A wonder. Some of you may believe it's divine providence, the word of the Lord, and by all means, I'm not telling you not to believe that Noah was sent a message. The earth would be flooded. Build a great ark with 2 of every animal. It wasn't literally every animal on the planet. Perhaps it was just 2 of every natural livestock that they needed at the time. And he built a big boat. Some believe that this ark is actually in Turkey. What if what really happened? What if he started seeing the signs in the sky, the auroras, strange phenomenon, strange weather patterns were affecting, and some people just said, I don't know. And he said, it's a sign something's going to happen. So he started building an ark, a big boat, and the story is passed down. What if civilization was actually substantially more developed, and he and a crew and a team with industrial prowess built a large boat, and everyone told him he was crazy? I mean, let's be real. What if you started building a gigantic boat right now, and you said, I got to load up a bunch of animals on it? They'd be like, you're nuts. They made that movie, Evan Almighty. They'd call you nuts. They say Ben Davidson is wrong, and it's alarmism. Why? This is the point I was making early on when I said they'd want wind turbines. If they told everybody the end was nigh, people would panic, quit their jobs, and go for the mountains. But they need you to do work so you can build the resources, the deep underground military bases that have been reported. They're building them. We know they are. Now, the bigger, crazy $21 trillion ones, I don't know, but we know wealthy people are building underground bunkers. Let me show you this video. It's got intense music, so we'll keep it a little quiet. A simulation of the expected 2040s deluge tsunamis in the crustal tilt scenario advocated by Ben Davidson. Creator is Juno, using the GCR by Ben Davidson, the model. Internal wave only, no slosh. He's playing the video, and you can see this. Check this out. I'll let it play. You can see the entire eastern coast of the U.S. is flooded. You can see South America is gone. That's wild. He's going to give us a different view of these things. There's the United States. The flood happens. Take a look at that. Let me pause right now. So we're looking at, hey, there's Appalachia. We're going to be okay, huh? Surrounded by water with no access to food, I'm not so sure. Florida is gone. South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, everything flooded and wiped out. Look at that. And then what? Do the waters recede? What happens? It looks like that may be the case. as slowly over time the water is starting to go down. Here's the West Coast. Look at that. Appalachia barely survives, and I'm not convinced I'm in the part of Appalachia that would. Take a look at the West Coast. Seemingly unaffected. Higher elevation in the Rockies, but California is gone. California's flooded. LA, goodbye. Makes sense. We want to live near areas. We want to live. Where do you want to be? Oh boy. The new South Pole. Take a look at that. Just off the coast of, what is that like, well, let's just say South America, so I don't know which country specifically, but around Chile, Colombia, etc. The new South Pole. Brazil. Hey, it looks like Rio. Well, Rio's gone. Check this out. There goes Europe. Europe's gone. The UK will get sloshed over, but part of it might survive. Looks like Spain will be okay. That's good news. This is pretty wild. If this actually happens, he says 2040s. There's Australia and... wow. Looks like Australia is just gone. Parts of the outback survive, get a lot wetter. And here's an interesting thought, too. A lot of areas on the planet that are just sand and desert. If this were to happen, it's going to shift moisture patterns around and change where life emerges and can sustain itself. Oh boy. Where are we at? Japan? The Aleutians? Look at that. Is that Alaska getting largely wiped out? Wow. No, it's partially. Largely okay. I wonder if the Aleutians will make it. Here's the U.S. again. So it looks like, I gotta be honest, I might be, I wish there was a way to tilt this so I can look at West Virginia as Eastern Panhandle and see if we're gonna be okay. We're not in a flood zone or anything like that. We are elevated to a certain degree. I think we're at like 1,000 feet. Where do you want to be? Nah. It doesn't look like we're gonna make it in Appalachia either. Man, this is a wild video. 2040s. You got 20 years. The Kings of Catastrophe meet pole shift with ethical skeptic Ben Davidson. Let's jump back to the beginning. Let's get a close-up view of... I want to get this in slow motion and see if I can figure out... All right. So we are right here. I think we're good. Man, how do I zoom in on this? There we go. We'll get a little bigger, You can see the structure of the states. Here's West Virginia. Here's the Eastern Panhandle. And when the flood comes in, yo, we're good. Yo, I'm all right. I'm in the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, and you can see the line right there. Looks like it'll be really bad, but we'll be okay. So we don't want to go anywhere else. We'll put it like that. Yo, that's absolutely wild. You can see right here, this tight cluster of white marks. That's the Panhandle. It's small. And, oh, no. Oh, no, it's getting wiped out. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if this will actually happen. What I can say, however, is that this is being written about quite a bit. Earth's poles might flip at any time. Here's how you can save yourself during the calamity. This is from Wyon News. Everybody's going to tell you the end is not coming, you'll be fine. Of course they would. No one really knows for sure. We have normalcy bias and optimism bias, but maybe it will happen. I don't know. The truth is, my friends, I have no idea. Don't act crazy. Live your lives. But it's entertaining, isn't it? Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Stay tuned. We got more to come. Join the Discord server, my friends. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.